learnt musical instruments growing up. I know this is like pretty basic and obvious, but lots of people, end up being composers and they actually haven't learned any instruments, and that's totally fine as well. Or, you don't have to learn the piano, you don't have to be able to read music. It can be useful, but it's not needed. But for me, I learned piano at 4, violin at 7, guitar. I like to think of myself as like a cat lady, but instead of cats, instruments. So I just kind of collect them and then try and learn them. Is my way of living. And then GCSEs and A levels. Again, everything I wanted to do was basically just music. So I did my music GCSE. I did music and music tech A level along with film and theatre. And all my friends are like, oh, they're such easy subjects. But then when you look at the coursework, I don't think they'd agree. Undergrad at Guildhall School of Music and Drama. So I really didn't want to go to uni. I wanted to be a performer to begin with. And then my dad was like, oh, you should probably go to uni. And I just thought, but I want to do something very specific. I don't want to do just like a general music thing. So luckily, where I went to school at Bevan Modern School, there was a composer student 2 years above me, Sagan Akinola, who did the score for the latest Doctor Who. He's not doing the current season, but he was doing the modern Doctor Who. And when he graduated, he went to Birmingham Conservatoire. So he was kind of my main point of call, learning about what a conservatoire was, and kind of he gave me a bit of an insight into that. So through that, I managed to get into the Guildhall School of Music and Drama, which is based in London, and it was really good fun. And I did like 4 years of that with a gap year in the middle, because why not? Like I went and toured with my band for a bit. And then I had like a year and a half out after my undergrad, and I kind of lost sight a bit of what I wanted to do. I was aiming to go into more like video games. I still really want to do more video games because I think it's really fun. I love the middleware software and things like that. But I kind of forgot that I just really love all media, and I really wanted to get into film and TV as well. And remembered that there was a postgrad at the National Film and Television School, which again, the guy I mentioned before, Sagan, he went to. So again, I was like following in his shadow, just being like, what is he doing? And I managed to get into there. And that was a 2-year course, which was, if you imagine like 10 years of being in the industry squished into 2 years, it was very intense, but that's what it was like. And again, like DBS, there are lots of different places that you can go to learn and study music. This was just my particular route. There's no set route. And then, networking, things like that. I went to lots of different events. I followed lots of different forums. I think we might touch on this a bit more later. But I was basically just getting loads of short films, trying my best to get work wherever I could. And luckily enough, from the National Film and Television School, I got an email from one of the producers of Heartstopper, and they were looking for a composer, and they were searching quite a wide net of both established composers and also newly graduated composers. So I was one of the lucky newly graduate composers to get an opportunity to send music, and they liked kind of what I did, and I pitched stuff for it and managed to get it. So that was kind of my route into Heartstopper, and then from then on it kind of kept flowing. I talked about that, proposing for short films, and practice, lots and lots of practice. So even when I was throughout the whole of this time, I was downloading videos off like online, and or creating my own films, or I did film studies for my A level, and I only did it just so I could basically write the music for all my peers. I was like, I don't really care too much about making my own film, which I did, and I loved it. I just want to compose everyone else's films. So practice really does make, not perfect, but practice is practice. It's good. And then job to pay the bills. I wanted to include this one because I think a lot of people forget that they see a lot of people succeeding, and they kind of think, oh, they just go into it, and then they get the job, and then they get paid, and like that's their life. When I went to Guildhall, I suddenly found that I suddenly discovered what an overdraft was, which was a bit of a shock. So I decided I had to get a job. So I was a waitress for quite a long time. It was a cool job though, because it was like working for up class events and stuff. Like there was like a couple of celebrity things I did, and it was really, really cool. But it was also horrible. I didn't like waitressing. So then I started like teaching, doing just beginner lessons for piano, violin, things like that. And then whilst I was at the National Film and Television School, everyone went out on a Friday night. I couldn't drink because then the next day I had to go and teach at a theatre school, and I basically was just working the whole time to try and like earn money and pay my way. So don't ever feel ashamed that on this journey that you have of whatever it is you want to do in your life, you need to get a job just to pay the bills. Do it, because how else are you going to do it? I feel like people aren't honest about that sometimes.